Hello. To continue our tour of semantic HTML elements, this video is going to be all about lists. There are three types of lists in HTML. They are called unordered, ordered, and description. And they each have different tags, although they have some similarities. The most similar are the unordered lists and the ordered lists. So an unordered list is what you might think of as a bulleted list. It's a list of elements, one per line, and each one, by default, has a bullet in front of it. So the order of that list is not important, and that's why we don't use numbers. If the order were important, we would probably have a numbered list, and in HTML, that is what's called an ordered list. So let's cover the ordered and the unordered and talk about description lists at the end. So a simple unordered list looks like this. The list is enclosed in UL tags or a UL element. And then each item in the list is enclosed in an LI element for list item. Now, the simple ordered list is quite similar. It also uses LI elements for each item, but you enclose the ordered list in an OL element. You've now seen a simple ordered list and a simple unordered list. What about if you want to nest a list inside a list? This is a little bit tricky, and in fact, Robbins has an error about this in her book. So let's examine a nested list. I have an unordered list that's the same as the simple one, red, white, blue, black. But under the first item, red, I have nested a new list that consists of orange, yellow, green. So here is my main list. And let's open that element up and have a look here. So this is red, and notice that that first list item encloses both nested lists, both the list that begins with orange and then the inner list that begins with pink. White, blue, and black are the same as before, enclosed in LI elements, and the list ends here. So what's happening under red? Under red, under that list item, I don't close the LI after the word red. Instead, I open the LI and then I embed my second list, the list that begins with orange. And my second element, yellow, has a nested list within it. So yellow also does not have a closing LI tag. It is followed by a new nested list, which consists of the items pink, cream, and aqua. And after those items, the list item, the LI element for yellow, closes. After that, we have green, which is the last item in this embedded list, this nested list, orange, yellow, green. So have a look at how they're embedded, and I'll show you the plain HTML here so that you can compare how it looks in Atom, our text editor, and how it looks when it's rendered in the browser. The bullet styles that you see here are the defaults, but you can change the bullet styles in CSS with CSS, and you can also remove the bullets altogether. Now let's look at how nesting works with ordered lists, because they have a few more options than the unordered lists, because sometimes if you're nesting within an ordered list, you want the nested list to be marked ABC, or perhaps with Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, with eyes. Or perhaps you want to renumber the list, begin it at a different number because you previously had 1, 2, 3, then you had some paragraphs. Now you want a list below that to begin 4, 5, 6. So you have some options like that. So let's look at basically the same list as before, but this time it's an ordered list, an OL element, and not a UL, not unordered, but ordered. So we have red, white, blue, and black, 1, 2, 3, and 4, as we did in our simple ordered list, but we've got a nested list under the item red. So here's red, and it's got no closing LI tag because the next thing that happens is we have a nested list. And if we want to change the numbering of the list, we enclose an attribute inside the OL tag, the opening OL tag, and that attribute is start, and the value is whatever you want the new starting number to be. And after you've assigned a starting number, it will number in order as you see here, 25, 26, 27. Then you close the LI for red after the nested list is finished, after the closing OL tag of the nested list. Now I've got another nested list here after the item blue in the main list, and I wanted to show you how to change the type of numbering system, and it's not the same as changing the number, the starting number. The starting number has the attribute of start, but to change the type of numbering system, that attribute inside the opening OL tag is type. That's the attribute. And then after that, you put a letter A if you want it to be ABC as here. If you wanted it to be Roman numeral I, you'd put a lowercase I. If you want it to be Roman numeral uppercase, you put an uppercase I as the type. And the same as with the unordered list, the enclosed list, the nested list, has to be within an LI tag of an element for the main list. So it's a little tricky to nest correctly. Fortunately, we don't have to nest lists that often, but I wanted to make sure that you know the correct way to do it. The third kind of list is very different in many ways. It's called a description list. It's not as common as the ordered and unordered lists, but it's pretty useful. And by default, each item in a description list is really two items, a data term and a data description. So in this case, I've used states because that's something that's easy to recognize. So each of the states is a term, and it is surrounded with DT tags, or a DT element. So California, Florida, New York, and you notice those are outdented, while the descriptions, the DD element, those are indented by default. Now you can change this style with CSS. You can make these look any way you like, but semantically, whenever you're going to make a list that consists of a word or a term and its definition or its description, you should always use a description list. And the description list is surrounded by DL tags. So the element for a description list is DL, and its items are DT and DD in a pair. So each item has a DT for the term and a DD for the description itself, and the list overall is surrounded by DL/DL. Lists are pretty simple, except for the nesting, which is a little bit tricky, and I hope that you've got them clear in your mind so that you can now use them correctly.